Okay, so let's have a look what your typical home network would look like. So at home we think about all the devices that you may have. Got some end devices here. You may have a PC, becoming less likely these days. Possibly a laptop or two, well we'll just have one for now. Maybe a wireless tablet, I'm not sure, and a smart device. We've always got a few mobile phones. So those are typical devices. Can have as many of those as you want on our network, with some limitations. Now at home we connect to this mysterious device called a home hub, or an internet gateway, or a router, or a modem, or a wireless access point. It goes by many names. The one I want you to connect to now is in end devices. It's down here, it's in the hubs, and it's this one called the WRT 300N. The reason I want you to connect to that one is if we look at it, it's pretty typical of the home devices you're highly likely to see. It's got some antennas to do with the wireless. It's got 4 ports, which are the Ethernet ports, which connect to a switch, which is for all our home devices, things on our LAN, and it's got a connection there to the outside world, which connects you off to the WAN, to either your DSL or cable connection, maybe through an intermediary device. But that's basically pretty much the network we have at home. While I've been talking, you can see that the tablet and the phone have connected, because at the moment by default there is no password on the device. So at home what would we do? Well, it would be shipped with an SSID and a password. This one isn't, so we've got to go into it. We go into the graphical user interface, we go into the wireless settings, and we set up an SSID. I'll call it computing, and we need to go to the wireless security and enable it. I'm going to use WPA2 Enterprise AES and select a password, Cisco 123. Okay, the thing I've just realised I've forgotten to do is you must hit save when you do these settings. So you'll see I've saved that, but if I go back to my basic wireless settings, it didn't pick up computing because I forgot to hit save. So I'm just going to type computing again, and now I'll go back to the bottom and save those settings. Okay, so it should come as no surprise now that clearly these have dropped because they don't know how to get in. So if we want to connect these, we go to the device, go to the configuration mode and the wireless interface, and you can see there the SSID. We type computing, and for the security, remember it was WPA2 PSK, and the passphrase was Cisco 123. There's no need to save here because that'll work straight away. So that tablet should connect now. There we go. We do exactly the same for the smartphone. Come down to the wireless, put the SSID in as computing, and the WPA2 PSK and Cisco 123, and our smartphone should connect. Come on, there you go. Right, so the laptop, you think you do the same, but when we look at the side of the laptop, we notice it's a bit of an old laptop here. There is no wireless card in it. It's not got wireless built in. So we can take out the card and throw it away, but if you do that, you've blown it up because you've got to turn the power off. Unfortunately, it doesn't let you do it, so we turn the power off. We can now throw away the network card and bring in a wireless card, and we can switch the PC back on. There you go. Now with the PC we could go to config and go to wireless, but actually on the desktop it's got an application to connect to the wireless network, which is more normal. And this is actually the Linksys software. Obviously Windows and other devices have it built in. We basically go to connect, it will scan around and find a wireless network. There you go, it's found the computing network. We want to say we want to connect. It knows it's WPA2 PSK. Type in the password Cisco 123 and say connect, and it should have connected. Okay, so with the laptop connected, we've just got the PC. We've looked how to connect the PC already. We go to our list of cables, which for some reason has just disappeared. Don't know where my oh, it's because I've scrolled too far one way, I think. Oh, there we go. I want my copper straight through cable, most commonly called an Ethernet cable, although incorrectly, and we plug it into any one of these 4 ports because these are our local area network ports. So there you go. And again, it'll just take a little bit of time to come up, but we can fast forward time and make the link come up. If we look at the PCs now, the laptop has got an address 0104, tablet has got 0102, that's got 0103, PC hasn't got an IP address. Again, the reason is by default in the configuration mode of the fast Ethernet interface it's set to static for you to configure it. We have to tell it to go to DHCP, and hey presto, that's now got an IP address. So if these got an IP address, where is the DHCP server? Because it appears there's no server in here. Well, there is. If we go back to the home device and we look at all the other options, go back to the basic setup, you'll see on the first page here for the network setup there's a DHCP server built in which is enabled, and it starts kicking out addresses at 192.168.0.100. That's why all our addresses are quite high, because that's where it starts giving them out. So to see our network working we need something to connect to, so yet again we'll just go and pull up a generic server on here. We'll connect in the generic server exactly the same way. So I've just clicked on the damn thing with a straight through cable. Again, remember it goes onto one of these internal Ethernet ports, not internet, that's to the outside world. Just get it connect, fast forward time. Now this is a fixed device on our network. We don't really want this getting an address through DHCP, otherwise we won't know where it is. So for this one, what we generally do for a server is we go to the settings and we would actually give it a specific address. So remembering the range is 192.168.0 this time, I don't know, use 10, somewhere quite low down, because remember our clients all start at 100. So if that's all working now from any of the devices, so I'll go to the tablet, go to the desktop, go to the web browser and type 192.168.0.10. there you go, we've got our web page. So basically we've built ourselves our home local area network. You can see on the device here, so go to physical view, we've got 4 ports available, so we can have up to 4 connections, and basically those 4 ports are connected to a switch inside this device. And clearly there's a lot more to this device than meets the eye, because some of the connections also come in through wireless, so there's a wireless access point and a switch, and as we'll discover there's some other things as well. But that's the basics of our home network.